The following video was recorded prior to the recent accusations involving Diddy Combs. The views and opinions expressed in this content do not reflect any events or allegations that have emerged since the recording. We urge viewers to exercise discernment and awareness of evolving developments. Our intention is to provide entertainment and information in a responsible manner. Thank you for your understanding.
Now playing the Artist for Artist podcast.
In a world full of podcasts, three brothers decide to change the game. This year, see the podcast that everyone's calling amazing.
Artist for artists, for artists, to artists for artists.
This is the Artist for Artists podcast with your hosts James, CJ, and Hennessy.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Artist for Artists podcast, the podcast where we give our views within the music and media industry. To my left, I got my boy James.
So,
to my right, I got my boy CJ Michael, aka AI Michael.
AI Michael.
And I like that one. And today, we're going to talk about cancel culture.
Yes, sir.
Something that we see through multiple various industries, but we're really just going to focus on within the music industry today. Okay. So I thought it would make the most sense to kick it off with what is cancel culture? What does it mean? So I have the exact definition. So cancel culture is the practice of publicly rejecting and ending the support of a specific individual based on their views or actions. Just to make that clear for everybody, right? So I'm sure when I just said that definition, there's a few artists that come to mind. So I thought that today we can kind of start with artists that have been canceled, and then we can kind of talk about artists that are uncancelable. So the first person that comes to mind when we're talking about canceled artists is unfortunately Chris Brown. Chris Brown is not fully canceled, but I think if you date back to that situation with Rihanna in 2009, he has lost so many opportunities due to that. He's been expelled from multiple countries. He hasn't been able to do events, and he's just been mocked in general by multiple different types of media. And for him specifically, it still follows him today. I think I saw him put this on Instagram like a month ago during NBA All-Star Weekend. He originally was invited to come play in the Celebrity All-Star game, and like the night before, they had to reach out to him and tell him, hey, we actually have to take you off the roster due to our presenting sponsor not wanting any involvement with you. So with something like that's a really unfortunate one. Like, we all make mistakes in life, and this one has followed him this happened in 2009, so 15 years now. So I guess I'll open it up when you guys kind of think of cancel culture, or is there any artists or anything that comes up to you guys, anyone specific? Or you guys can touch on deeper into the Chris Brown topic. But
well, for me, there's like a level of there's levels to this cancel. You know what I mean? Like, we not effing with you, but we like you. And then we're just not effing with you. And primarily that happens when money is a big major, focus in it. But like, as far as who, so the baby.
I got that.
Yeah,
it
was like, and like, it's just, it's he was canceled for his misogynistic views and his offense to the LGBTQ community, right?
At Rolling Loud, 2021.
Right, and the biggest thing I'm going to say is don't mess with the LGBTQ community at all, because it's a monster in itself.
Yeah.
As far as that goes. But cancel culture to me is not, and I don't want to say it like this, but I'm going to say it. It's not real. It's in your head. And I'm only saying this because T-Pain has been canceled multiple times. You know what I mean?
When?
Oh, he talks about it.
I was going to say, I can't publicly think of a time.
Yeah, no, he talks about it. Okay. I can't pinpoint it, but if you go look at some of his interviews, he actually says I think he did on his podcast.
Because I think that's different.
And that's what I was going to say too. But there's a cancel and there is a blackball, but just like, I think it's in your head. And the reason why I'm saying that is because those who didn't accept it still move. Chris Brown is one who just didn't accept it. He still puts out his music. He still does what he needs to do. Then he has blackball situations. But cancel culture in itself, and the reason why I say it's in your head is because it's here today and gone tomorrow with the next cancel. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it does make sense. I think sometimes even with culture cancel culture can be kind of tricky in a sense too, because if you're an artist and you make great music and you have great quality work, and just go for Chris Brown, and you have a situation like that, you know what I mean? And then the whole world cancels you because of that one situation. You do what you have to do to handle that situation, the apologies, the work that you need to do to kind of fix that. People like to see that redemption type thing or whatever happening, but you're doing it for yourself. So you get all of that done, fix it. That still doesn't take away who you are and what you presented to the industry and to people and to the culture. So it's like, yeah, I was canceled for that, but my music is speaking beyond what my issue was back then. You know what I mean? Or what I did back then. So as long as the quality of what you're producing, in my opinion, is still great for people, and you haven't, and he has a way of being in the light, staying out the light.
Yep.
Because if this is one thing where like, all right, you was canceled, and it's something that looks like it's just not changing about you, and you don't have nothing else to kind of like overshadow what happened, then yeah, you're gonna be canceled forever, and that's how I feel. Which is those who have great quality product and great quality music or whatever it is that you're doing that can be canceled for situation, but not canceled, overall.
So now you heard it here first on our podcast. It's situational, canceled.
So you were saying something before about it being in your head, and I have to disagree with that. For we're gonna talk about DaBaby specifically because we were just on him, right? So he had an incredible 2020.
Incredible.
Fire. I was knocking that nonstop. 2 Grammy nominations, ton of buzz in the streets, and then he does that homophobic rant on Rolling Loud. What happened after that wasn't in his head. That is straight. He was dropped by Boohoo Man. He was removed from a ton of lineups, from Lollapalooza to Governor's Ball to the iHeart Music Festival to Park Life. So that's not in your head. That's like affecting your bag. Like actually, that's real, So I feel like something like that, and to go back off what you said, his music was that he was dropping through this whole thing. It still was pretty good, but people weren't resonating with it because he affected so many people. A large part of his audience is in the LGBTQ community. So you can't get on stage, say some crazy stuff, and expect people to still support you after that, regardless of how good the music is. Right? So that would be like my kind of devil's advocate response to
I appreciate that. No.
Is what I would say,
And note it. But then it goes back, and this is why I fall back on the beat in your head, because it goes back to what James just said. The one thing that DaBaby didn't do was he didn't have redemption. He didn't resolve. He tried to stay in the public eye where he made more mistakes. Because he was saying, I'm canceled, I'm going to force, I'm going to do this. You take a step back. Everybody who's been successful like that, who haven't, like T-Pain, in and out, right? Oh, this happened. I got chill for a bit. Kanye. Oh man, I'm gonna shut up for a little bit.
I'm gonna get what I'm saying? Specifically.
Like, and then you come back and you do your redemption tour. Then you come back and you do the things. Meek got canceled for a second when he did, and then he came back and tried to do. All right, well now I'm prison reform. And T.I. prison reform and everything else, because you have to deal with the devils that you've done. You hold yourself accountable. Deal with that, and then move on and try to get back in the best view of the public eye and whatever the case may be.
But also, you still have to understand that you have to still swallow the bullet.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
No, but even picking back to what you're saying about disagreeing, like I can understand that too. Like you also have to swallow the bullet that that happens. So it's like there's some doors that's just going to still be closed.
Yep.
Like I don't see Chris Brown ever doing the Super Bowl.
No, unfortunately not. He
can't even get on the Grammys. He can't even get on the Grammys to do a Michael Jackson tribute. Or was that the Grammys, or was it another award show where they were trying to get him to do that tribute?
I'm not sure which one specific, but I do recall
it was something like that. Like, so it's just going to always be some doors, and it's because of those particular gatekeepers. It's like absolutely no to Chris Brown. And we're just using him as an example. I know we're using him a lot. There's plenty of other artists, but it just depends on certain bridges that may just be burnt off of that situation that you're just not going to be invited back in. But that does not mean that you have to be canceled forever. There's going to be doors that's just not going to happen. You're not going to do All-Star, whatever. But you are still touring. You are still on the radio more than a lot of these other artists on their features.
Yep.
So it's like you're still collabing. Even new artists who want to break through are now saying you need a record with Chris. Chris does features on everything. So there's still ways.
But there's that protocol, right? Like, it's like, understand, accountability, try to fix. I keep saying Kanye, he does the most outrageous things.
Oh, yeah.
And then turns around and be like, well, you know, this was where I was at, and you can't get mad at me because I was just being in my impactful self, and I identify with being free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people have, because we're living in an age now where individualism is celebrated even if it's wrong or right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still celebrated, even if it's wrong or right. So if you have a problem and you go, oh man, I was in my weakest moment, like Meek is doing, oh, at the time I had this and this going on and da-da-da-da. Now you bring in a whole new demographic of people who don't even care about your music, but see, I like him, he's redemption, the mental health or something like that. And then you work your way back in. But the minute you, oh, I'm canceled, and I'm beating you in the head all day with the same stuff, all that's gonna happen is you're gonna be remotely like forgotten about.
Yeah, you're stepping farther back in the line every time.
Right, every time. Like, and I know you're not trying to say it, but it's like I struggle with this as a DJ, right? You don't know how many times I DJ.
Yes, that is true. Tell us about that. Actually,
I DJ so many times and have to, and even on stage when we were with the band, it's like, well, can we? Because he just.
Can I play R. Kelly?
Can we?
Can I?
And I'm gonna get to R. Kelly point. Like, yo, honestly, it pisses me off. I have a daughter.
Yeah.
I have a daughter. I understand that. But personally, I just think that we are canceling the music, right? And the person. You know what I mean? Where it should just be the person. There's so many rock stars and everything else who've done so much stuff. There's stories behind Sweet Caroline, the song, but yet and still it's played at every wedding. You know what I mean? So at the same time, it's more so like as a DJ, and I think I seen this on social media. Somebody said that they was like, "What's one canceled artist that you as a DJ would love to play?" And everybody's just like looking around like, and they're even scared to say that because they don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, because people are gonna look at
you. You know what I mean?
Because you're affiliating.
Because you're affiliating with, and by no means, and it's the problem with sound bites too. It's like I can't say what I want to say also because even if I said the right thing, you're going to take this specific piece of this soundbite and then make it seem like I said the wrong thing anyway.
Without getting the full story of what I just said.
The whole story behind it. And like, yeah, it sucks as a DJ when I can't play Fiesta or I can't play Ignition. You know, like, and things like that because it's really good.
Yeah, but then that's when you have to start going like on your whole like court thing and try to figure out, okay, what was the damage? Now, when you're dealing with a situation where it's just like one person made a mistake concerning another person and something, that's one thing. There is a history and your songs kind of align with the history and the timeline.
We're going to stick on that for a second because
that's kind of true.
You're right about that.
You got to go to court when you want to cancel. And you know, it's just
cancel court.
Yeah, you gotta go to cancel court. And it's like, all right, put all of this on the table and be like, all right, now beating, you know, that's big.
Yeah.
But saying or having an opinion about something and being canceled for that's
different.
It's a whole nother thing.
True.
So
that's true.
I guess with that being said, do we separate music from the individual themselves? Is that a thing? Is that possible? Can you separate, like, let's just use, for example, R. Kelly. Let's just say, maybe with AI. R. Kelly as an example, though. Can you separate the acts he made versus his music? Because you said, hey, if you could play that, you know the dance floor will kind of go crazy if you played it, but
I don't think so for artists.
I was about to say
for
that.
artists, they build them up to be a representation of something. And when you're growing up and you're seeing that on TV or you're seeing somebody that you know you want to do the same thing or their music speaks to you in a certain way and it grew up with you, you start to look at the artist and their music as the same.
Got you.
Especially if you're looking for authentic artists. It's like, okay, you're speaking in your mind, this is coming from the authentic place, this is who this person, da-da-da-da. And we do that with everybody.
Yep.
Even with the stuff that's coming up with Diddy. At one point, even myself was like, oh, Diddy has this thing like a map. Like he knows exactly how to do this. you know, all these artists that came out of him, da 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 da, and now we're finding out all these other things too that happen. It's just like the artists and their music
is one package. Okay. I thought that was a good question to kind of see like your thoughts on that. And that's your response? I think I lean on your response. I think I agree with that. That's what I would say.
And I still struggle with it though. And I'm saying that because I personally feel like it's, and I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to say it. Like, I personally feel like it's also racially driven. Because for the same amount of problems that rappers may have, or
wait, you think cancel culture is
not cancel culture? I'm talking about the response to what you were saying. Okay. Yeah, just not cancel culture itself.
That's us.
Yeah, that's us.
Made by us, done up by us.
Yeah, like, there's a lot of Black Twitter involved too.
It's like we do it. Like.
But like, I think that personally, like it's kind of racially driven in a way. It's like there are so countless rock stars who have done some unspeakable things, and it's out in the open and known. There's countless other people. There's the director, Woody. I know the director's name. Not Woody Harrelson. Don't do that.
Harvey?
Somebody's about to say that, but no, Woody, I should have looked it up. But he's known for essentially what Russell Simmons is getting canceled for.
Got you.
Okay.
And it's still releasing movies, still married to the person.
Yeah.
Still all this other stuff, and Russell Simmons got to go hide somewhere in
like Bali or
another
wherever,
country.
Wherever he's at.
So, like, for me, that's why I struggle with it. It's like, is it not just like it's an exception in it?
It could be.
Okay. Well, I guess while we're on the race thing, then I'm gonna jump into Untouchable, unless you guys have more with the.
No.
Okay. So Untouchable, people who I think that can't get canceled. I think it's gonna be a wild card. I'm gonna bring this name up. You guys probably didn't think I was gonna bring this. Eminem. People have tried to cancel Eminem for years based on the lyrics. Literally years. Years. People have tried to cancel Eminem for years just due to his controversial lyrics. Mm-hmm. But recently, I was reading that some TikToker, some Gen Z TikToker, dug up the lyrics from the song "Love the Way You Lie" with Rihanna, and the exact line they're speaking about. This is what Eminem said. I know I'm a liar. If she ever tries to effing leave again, I'ma tie her to the bed and set this house on fire.
I mean, that's Eminem.
That's Eminem.
I mean, Stan was the same thing.
That's Eminem. But Gen Z, I think it's tough because Gen
you
Z,
can't do that.
Exactly. They're talking about it like they don't get it. They're just being exposed to this now.
Lyrics of expression, guys. I don't think this man is going to actually
tie someone up to a bed and light a house on fire.
I mean, and Eminem's as his defense. I mean, if I was a prosecutor, that's not something I'd have went to the court with. He's had a ton of other stuff in his history like that. Yeah. So to him, that's a joke. But no, Eminem, honestly, and I think cancel culture, again, comes into play when you care so much about it. Because he don't give a... And you can say anything you want to Eminem, and he ain't going to care. It's just, I'm going to say something back to you probably, but I'm not going to care. 50 is not going to care. You know what I mean? Like...
Until it starts affecting his bag.
But even that, what he did with whatchamacallit, he beat up on Homegirl who owed him that money.
Who?
When he was in that lawsuit or something like that?
Yeah, from Homegirl from Love and Hip Hop.
Okay. I can't think of her name. But I know
he beat up on her, which would have been considered like she ain't even saying nothing now. You still on it. You still on it. So it's when it can affect you. It's when cancel culture becomes dominant in your area. You know? Because again, Eminem. I mean, people are digging up based on you digging.
That's
lyrics.
what I'm saying. Digging up old lyrics.
They were digging up lyrics from Biggie, and he sounded wild gay. No disrespect. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm talking about they poured up the lyrics to say he said some gay stuff, like, and it was just like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is this because you're just trying to create a habit and a soundbite for yourself?
That's a fact. And I think the main thing that they don't understand is that, like, for us, we grew up listening to Eminem. So, like, this is Eminem. This is what we know. Like, this has been him from the day he stepped into the game. And even on top of that, like, when you have a cult following like that, a following of people who love you regardless of what you do, they don't care what everyone else is saying. We love your music. We love you. You're uncancelable to us. And if your audience is big enough that's when I think you can't really be canceled.
But the other side of it too, and back to what James was saying earlier too, is that Eminem hasn't had any real actionable situations that have resulted in it being a likeness to his music.
But
like
the lyrics, though, I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about that's when it becomes sketchy. Like if Eminem decided that, and if they put Eminem on trial for murder, and he got exonerated, everybody's gonna be like, nah, I think he's a murderer. Because based on that, you know what I mean? Like, but there's no.
So what about Kanye? Because he's not really aligned with any, like, you know, anything along those lines. With him, it's more of just.
But he has shown us time and time again that he's. I'm not gonna say that. But he has shown us time and time again that he is going to be Kanye, and you either are going to accept that or not, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like being a parent. It's like you and you just get real fed up. But Kanye has also been a prime example of somebody who always produces something great.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, and actually I have the timeline we can kind of look at there. So like with Kanye West, right? Over the years, this is, you just touched on it. This is what he's done, right? He's outraged the general public just by saying either outlandish comments about race, religion, really everything in between. He's kind of said some really wild stuff about. But his whole career, that's what he's done. He's flirted with controversy since he's gotten in. George Bush doesn't like black people.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know, like people were looking at him crazy, but it does take an impact when big brands start to stop working with you. The Adidas situation, right? I think he kind of wanted that anyways. I think he wanted out of that, but like that's a serious impact to your bottom line, to your money when something like that happens. But even peers in the rap game have tried to cancel Kanye before. When he was doing that whole Trump 2020, I think it was the 2020 election where he was backing Donald Trump. And
I hate this right now.
I remember people in the industry were like, oh, we don't mess with Kanye. Like, we're not messing with Kanye. But I'm sure now this year, like 4 years later, they are. Yep. And Kanye, here's Kanye's cycle. It's the same thing every time, okay? He says something crazy, right? He briefly apologizes a couple months later about what he said. He disappears from the public eye for a couple months, and then he comes back with either a body of music or a product, and majority of his fans, they just shift over to that. They either forget about the stuff he said, or it's been so long since he said it that they're like, oh, whatever, he's dropping the new shoes. Or he's about to drop this new highly anticipated album.
We're canceling somebody else now.
Or he's collaborated with this artist on this album. So that's literally the timeline of how Kanye, it's a cycle. This is literally a cycle.
So that's the ingredients to become uncancelable.
Yeah.
Because as we said, right, it's showing resolve, it's showing empathy. The reason why it works for Kanye is because he'll do something, like you said, he'll do something outlandish or crazy that he'll immediately show empathy. Right? And
maybe not so immediate, but
I'm not immediately.
or he'll do something that's totally amazing. And you just have to give him credit when credit is due.
That's
like Kanye will say, I'm going to do a concert and it's going to be available at every movie theater and you guys should come. And it's going to be at 7 o'clock and here's the tickets for that. I don't remember before him just showing up to the movie theater and being able to watch a concert live.
Yeah.
Like happening in Miami and I'm here in New York at the movie theater watching it. You distract whatever was being canceled with something that hasn't been done.
Yep.
Or something that is groundbreaking to where that becomes more of the talk. Because it's still a thing. Like, oh yeah, he did this. But man, yeah, I went to the movie theater this year.
Right?
You're gonna go? I know he did it, but you're gonna try to pull up.
He's got the new Yeezy drop.
It's at 7 o'clock. You think he's gonna be on time?
Right?
Let's go see.
I was only laughing because
it builds up.
I remember being one of those people. That's why I was like, because it worked. It got me too. I was one of people like Trump. Yet and still, I got like 6 pair of Yeezys.
Yeah, bro.
I just paid for the $20 Yeezy pods.
Yeah. Even with the church thing, and don't get me wrong, it was great that he, did the choir and stuff like that too. But could you imagine saying that Kanye's coming to my church?
Yeah, no.
But that was groundbreaking.
But that was groundbreaking to say that Kanye West.
People want to see, oh, he's doing this. Let me see how that turns out.
Did his whole church service at my church.
But it was based on the mistake that you did.
Yeah, he was in Queens.
Yeah, he was in Queens.
And he did that at my church. And I'm literally like, if you look at the clips, I think there's some like clips that's still on YouTube and stuff like that. I'm literally like in the choir standing on the side with the band on. I'm like this. Like, am I watching this? And it was to the point where you couldn't even get in. And church, especially with like my church and stuff like that, like it's a well-known church where people are there and there's more, but I've never seen it that to where like you would have thought it was like Christmas on the Boulevard, like we were giving away Christmas gifts. It was like people looped around just to come to church.
But that's again back to what you were saying, right? It's I made a mistake.
Kanye is sending everybody to church. He's great.
right. That's what I'm saying. But I made this mistake now, right? Now I got to figure out some way, like you said, to fix it. And by fixing it, I'm going to go to church. The only person who that didn't work for was Mace, but
Mace.
And who's to say that might not even been his angle on the whole reason why he did the church thing, but it helps, is what I'm saying. Like for whatever acts that he does in between time of being silly is like.
But that's what I'm saying. People want to see growth.
Yeah.
And people are always fans of growth.
Yes.
At the end of the day. And the minute that you don't show growth or any type of empathy in it is the minute that it wouldn't happen. If Chris Brown didn't get up on that stage after that and cry during that performance for MTV, he wouldn't have the career he has right now. That
You
one
don't
moment.
think so?
I don't know. I was going to say, I don't know, bro.
If he didn't get up on that stage because you saw the women.
Because it's still following him now.
No, but he still wouldn't have had the effect that he has still now. He wouldn't have had that. Because when I saw it like
I think that was just a vulnerable moment for everybody. Michael Jackson
showed the
died.
world. Yeah, but it showed the world.
We were all crying. You hear me? Chris Brown crying. I feel your pain, bro.
You said it.
We gotta make a change.
That's my point. I can forgive you because I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I can forgive you because I feel your pain. But
that
you
had
said
nothing to do with him, is what I'm saying. Like, I understand that example,
But it wasn't correlated to
but
that.
it was
that's what you're
not.
saying.
We gonna use that, and it was like, nah.
No. I'm not saying he intentionally did it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it worked in that moment because you got to see that he was human. He still was a child who made a mistake. And he's up on his stage giving his all, which is probably one of my favorite performances completely. Giving his all, his gift to the world and what he has to give. And he broke down and he cried. And it was like, I
do feel like they
can feel
definitely pulled for. I know this is not a Chris Brown episode, but I definitely feel like his people's pulled that. Hey, look, the King of Pop died. This is what everybody in America feels like is the next. You know,
like a
the team
like
actually.
pass the torch type of thing.
You know what I'm
Not
saying?
like him, yeah.
Now, the least we can do, like, I know he's, X, Y, and Z, but the least we can do is let him perform for this tribute.
Yeah.
And let it be X, Y, and Z. And I think the grace of that and his performance in that just tied it up. Like, oh my God, he did this, but he's getting the opportunity to be on stage to give tribute to somebody that he thought was great.
Yeah.
And because of that, like, we know. It's like, all right, that was cool for him. But then that next day, it's back on Michael Jackson. Yeah, Chris Brown died. Chris Brown did that.
It's Mike,
and
though.
he
You
cried.
can't say it's Mike.
Yeah.
But Michael.
I mean, technically, if we're going to talk about an uncancelable artist,
Michael Jackson?
Mike, like,
Nah, so that's the thing. Like,
because he's
that's
had
tough
so
to
much.
say though, because he's not here. Like, if he was still alive,
No, I'm
he
talking
might be canceled today. If he was still alive. If he was still alive.
I think it goes back to what James was saying about his body of work.
Canceled. Yes, he has that cult following, but I think to the general eye,
I see what you mean.
He might be canceled. R. Kelly's canceled, and he's
You took the words
before
out
we
of
take
my
it too
mouth,
far.
bro.
I am not comparing R. Kelly to Michael Jackson. Before y'all start running with that, I'm just saying he had a big footprint, R. Kelly, and he still got canceled.
So
Bill
are we
Cosby,
saying too
canceled.
soon?
But what did we say? We're just saying what we just said earlier is putting everything to the court.
Yes, but let me say this. Is it too soon?
Too soon to cancel him?
No.
Or what do you mean?
Just too soon. Like, because I recently was in a club in, this is kind of bad. I
Tell
was
us
in
about it, man.
Curacao.
Let us know, okay?
Right.
Let us
I go do
know,
that.
man.
But
Let
I
us
was recently in a
know.
club in Curacao, and he started playing Ignition. The DJ.
Yeah.
He's black.
Yeah, his prerogative.
Right? It's prerogative. And I looked around, and not me and not us, but other people were
Yeah. Well,
hot and fresh out.
Yeah.
Right. And I was just looking, I was like, maybe it's a time thing.
Well, no. Well,
You know
I'ma
what I'm
tell
saying? Like,
Yeah.
Ooh, that was one of the questions I had.
Yeah.
So you said a time thing. So I was going to say, is there an expiration date to being canceled? Is there an expiration
there
date
is,
to
actually.
being canceled?
I don't think there's an expiration date. I think there's gonna always be a stamp of at some point you did that.
And we can always pull that out whenever
Yeah.
we
we
feel
want.
like
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Whenever the time is right and we don't want you involved. Oh, Chris Brown, remember back in 2009 what you did? Yeah, we're taking you off this.
Right, like you better be nice to all of us. You hear
Oh, yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah,
Because the
yeah.
minute something look a little fishy, hey, you trying to slap a female today?
Right? No, for real though. Like, it's a serious thing, but for real though. Like,
No,
Did
and
you
I'm not even
just-
trying to make light of it at
Yeah,
all. This is
yeah,
not a
yeah.
joke. It's not funny. It's not nothing. But you get what I'm saying?
It was funny
It's
to
just
me.
people will and that's just like in life.
But that's life.
You do
That's what I was
something
about to say.
wrong,
Right.
And you could forgive yourself and do better and all of that stuff like that. But the minute you slide back, people still got that eye on you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So with time, I feel like it could even come down to music, like even with R. Kelly. It's been a minute since you heard any of his
That's
stuff
what
on
I'm
the
saying.
radio,
Yeah.
anything publicly about it. So you hear just the slightest bam, 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 and it's like on a DJ somewhere in the corner, you know, like it's like, oh my God, that's I can't.
No, you gotta catch yourself. And that's what I'm saying. You have to, because there's been plenty of times that I was like, oh, I'm DJing. They're like, yo, I know it.
Yeah.
It was times that we perform predominantly in Jewish weddings.
Okay.
Right? You think I wasn't pissed when Kanye said that?
Done. Playlist. The whole play cut in half.
Couldn't even. And then you realize, and the worst part about it is how good they are in music. It just doesn't affect their song. It's other artists that they work for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just heard freaking Bump, 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 and immediately my BZK, and I was like, that's a good, oh man, that was R. Kelly. I can't play that.
Yeah.
No, that's valid. I got I guess one last kind of juicy question. Diddy, obviously there's headlines. This is something that's been being talked about a lot, right? So is Diddy canceled forever? It's a two-part question. Is Diddy canceled forever?
Is he canceled?
And is he canceled? I think Diddy's
tell y'all,
absolutely canceled right now.
He's going down.
Where's my camera? Diddy is absolutely
camera?
Diddy is canceled as hell
going
right now.
down. You hear me?
So here's
you
my
wrote
question,
that song
though.
for Mary J. Blige and trooped to every song going down, bro.
The same blueprint that Kanye West uses. That's what I was gonna say. If Diddy uses his blueprint, will it work? So the Kanye West blueprint I was saying, he does or says some really crazy and messed up stuff.
Bro.
He briefly apologizes. So far, Diddy's done some crazy wild stuff. He apologized. The next
Did he
step,
apologize?
I think he did on social. He said something. Maybe
He said something coming down the steps, but then again,
I think he said something, but it
I
wasn't
wasn't sure if it was
I don't
AI.
know. He might have or might not,
No.
but I think he did. But the next step from there, from the Kanye blueprint or recipe, is disappearing from the public eye for an extended amount of time, which he's currently in. He might take the whole year, nothing, and then he might pop out with some. I don't know. That's all I'm
This
saying.
man is
That's
going down.
Kanye's recipe. I'm
Ooh.
saying. So I guess my question is, will Kanye's recipe or timeline or blueprint work in Diddy's
I don't
favor?
think so.
Nope.
And my opinion and why I don't think so is because it goes back to your authentic self, right? I can't trust you. One thing that we can trust about Kanye is Kanye's gonna be Kanye.
Yeah.
Diddy, you lived a whole life at masking everything
To us.
to us.
I think people in the industry might have known that.
People
Because
in the
why are
industry-
more people in the industry
know
not
it.
speaking up?
Right.
So to them, that's authentic.
Well,
Well,
no.
we've been at Diddy's parties back in the 90s. We've been doing this. So to them,
They're saying if you know Diddy,
That's what
this
they're
is
saying.
over. It's the same way we're
Exactly. So
saying
that-
Kanye's gonna be Kanye.
Diddy's gonna be
the
Diddy.
people in the industry, his peers, are like, oh, yeah, we used to go to those parties back in
But
98.
the peers
like,
aren't the ones that's canceling him. It's going to be the culture of everything, right?
Now
Yeah.
wait, I actually saw the lawsuit
Huh.
that
like recently?
I thought you was about to go like
what's the
this.
producer's name? Little
Oh.
Rod or something like that. That's trying to. He just
Just
literally
a dope, yeah.
did a lawsuit against Diddy, and I think he raises money on GoFundMe or something like that to do it. So it's online, and the accusations that are like against Diddy, and it's in detail of everything. It again goes down to putting everything in the court, and I just feel like there's certain things to where when the terms are being canceled is on that leverage.
Yeah, Lil Rod Jones.
Then what can you necessarily like? To me, you can't like. There's no way that you can just move forward from that. Like we're talking about things you've done to your artists, to producers,
Security, your
security,
partners.
the relation. It's
Yeah.
just too. It's too much.
That's what I mean by
It's
masking.
too much.
It's something that now it's so much wrong information that we're receiving as the public now that there's no way you could come back from that.
But it's too many people saying the same thing too.
No, that's what I'm
Like
saying.
it's
right,
not even
right.
different stories. Like
Yeah,
you know,
it's
to
like
make you
everyone's
feel
got the
like
same-
it could
like,
be a
yeah.
little. Everybody's like, yeah, me too. Or I heard that, but it wasn't exactly like that, but it was similar. I'm like, Jesus Christ, bro.
That's that question for me is kind of tough because I
Bad
feel
boy.
like bad boy. He
Come
told
out
us,
and
y'all.
play.
Told
That's
us.
what he said.
Like
That's what he said.
I
He
feel
said
like
every step you take,
Yeah, he said,
every
and he said,
move
take that.
you make, I will be watching you.
He said, take that.
And I'm gonna come beat the hell out of you. You're doing something. Like, you know.
Man. But I just feel like for someone like him,
Nah, I think he's done.
You think he's done for good?
I think
Even
it's
if it's like 4 or 5 years from now, he comes out with a new
Nah, he's
album.
done.
He
can't
does
get
a
one
new
more chance.
rebranding. He does like a new.
You can't get one more chance.
He does a whole.
Gets no more chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially with what we're seeing with like these big brands like Diageo and the liquor partnerships, and you know him having to step down as a CEO of Revolt, and you know those types of things. Those are serious. That's serious, and I think bouncing back from that,
even if it's true or not,
is nearly impossible. But I don't want to count him out in that perspective. I think he possibly could.
I think
he possibly could just because he has so much.
Okay,
he's such a mogul. He's such a.
But then
statue in the industry. I'm not saying I agree. I'm not saying I want him to bounce back. I just think that there is a possibility that he could.
For sure.
That he could bounce back, but maybe not in the capacity of dropping music. Maybe creating a new app or creating a new business or
but he's
dropping
gonna have to be a silent partner in it
or something like that.
It can't be led by Diddy.
Yeah, but then you also have to think about his likeness too, and see if people really do like the person.
That's what if you
don't like, because then you could already not care for a person before anything goes down, and then by the time it goes down, it's like, well, then that does it there. Because then you look at Wendy Williams.
You
look at Wendy Williams. Everybody loved her for the junk that she was popping off and doing all this type of stuff or whatever. Now that we see her in the light that she's in now, you got half of the people who saying that's good for her.
Yep.
She deserves stuff like that, or her sickness is due to whatever.
Karma.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was gonna say along with the Diddy situation too. Like I was trying not to say it, but I'm like, I'm sure there are plenty of artists under that.
That's like good for him.
Bad boy. That's like, I'm good for you, and that's the other part too that gets me too. And this is why I'm saying it's not bounce backable. Here's why: it's because there are quote unquote people that was supposed that you were supposed to be in line with, right? Who, when you go down, these people show up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Crickets. No Lil Kim.
But I think she might be crickets and not saying anything because she'd been knowing this shit.
No, but that's my point.
Yeah,
Mary J. Blige said, I'm in love, and I got a new tour coming out, and you guys look, I ain't say a word.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, why it's not. Because you don't even have, like, even, at least with Bill Cosby, somebody was like, the people from the show, they might have backed out. But at least Diddy has nothing.
But that's what I mean by somebody being credible. Like, if somebody can vouch and say, hey, look, I never, or hey, look, this ain't him. If you don't have that core of people to kind of like show that.
You would never do this. Or this Diddy, what? No, never. But no one's even coming
out.
No one's going to say that.
He may not done to me, but I've seen the way he treated this and that and the third. I've seen the way he cursed out this security guard.
Yeah, about the security guard who said he recorded it?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, but...
And then there's some things in that lawsuit itself where they're like saying that he got into an altercation. He did like a band camp when he was doing the Love album.
Mm-hmm.
And all the producers, including Lil
Rock.
Yeah, he was there as well. And it was Diddy and his son Justin, if I'm not mistaken.
Justin's on this. He's on that.
On the lawsuit.
Yeah.
But there was an issue or altercation where there's a guy, he could have been an assistant of theirs or something like that, but he's this tall, dark-skinned African guy. That's how they explain the lawsuit. Anyway, they got into a little argument in front of everybody, and Diddy takes that guy and his son into like the bathroom to, I guess, finish an argument or whatever. A couple of minutes later, you hear gunshots. Okay? Diddy and his son walks out. The other guy's still in there, blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the lawsuit. And then they say Little Rod or whatever was trying to, like, you know, take care of the guy until the police came or whatever.
Make sure.
And then they, in the lawsuit, they said Diddy told them to tell him, hey, look, when the police get here, tell them that the situation happened outside. Like in a, like just on a
no, but there's multiple. There's multiple stories like that. Homegirl came out too, who said that the Shine situation.
Yeah,
she came out and said, I saw him.
Yeah,
and I saw him shoot me. Like, so that's what I mean by that. There's no bounce back from that because number one, you're gonna be forever just non-credible as a human being. Number two, the stories have been like this, and number three, you're gonna be non-credible with business.
Yeah,
for sure.
So what are you doing?
That's true.
And it sucks for like Meek right now.
That's true. There's And I think another thing too is like when you actually get incarcerated, That makes a difference. Like when you get incarcerated, like you're definitely canceled because you can't work at the same capacity. Like you can't drop stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess the last name, because I know we're getting short on time. The last name, Tory Lanez. When he gets out, how does that look for him?
In the music side of it, I don't think it works.
You think it will or doesn't? It doesn't work.
I don't think.
I think it will.
I
think it'll go crazy.
I think it'll go crazy.
Well,
I think it'll go crazy. I think it'll go crazy.
I think it will too.
I think it'll go crazy. Not only is his music just fire,
Okay.
the amount of people I
How
see on
long
Twitter fingers that
is
are
he
like,
in there
oh,
for?
he didn't do it. He did. There's so many
How long
people
is
who
he
are
in there for?
saying,
10 years?
I think 7 to 10.
7 to 10. So
If
that means
there's no noise between that time and he just pops out with some heat,
my problem with
We
that.
back.
No, I mean, but we're thinking about it
Okay.
from our perspective. Like, I think it will go crazy. I'm talking the music industry may have moved on. The people may have moved on. These kids are ingesting music at such a speed that, it's like, yo, yeah, we're going to hear him come out with the album. We go, yo, this is fire. The kids that matter is not going to care.
but the story doesn't.
So he has to drop a Netflix special.
Not even the Netflix special.
You know what I
Not
mean?
even the Netflix special. My thing is though.
Like,
my thing
do
is the
something
story.
else.
But then the thing is the story doesn't change. So it got closed. Like whatever situation with him and Meg happened, like it's a done deal now.
Yeah.
We know what the outcome is.
Yep.
When he comes back though, the story can necessarily still be there. Is what
Mhm.
I'm saying. It's how you creatively as an artist now bring that whole attention back up. Because when you come out, the first thing they're gonna come out, oh, he's out. Remember why he was in there?
Yeah, we need that first day out record. We need that first day out.
mean,
Bro, it's gonna be too much attention. It's gonna bring up the situation
Yep.
all over
It's gonna
again when he comes
resurface.
out.
Yep, it's gonna resurface.
So why not?
I got you. But
You
in no
know-
way am I identifying it this way. But, I mean, I know he's a better artist, but Bobby Shmurda.
But Bobby wasn't canceled though.
But I'm talking about he went away for a long period of time
Yeah, and came back.
and then came
But I
back.
think people loved Bobby for how he stood 10 toes down, came out,
And his
got
personality.
his boys out early. And yeah. So I think that's a little bit different just because he was never like canceled or like he wasn't like black. That didn't happen. Like Tory Lanez, that's very different just because all the negativity surrounded by his name.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a little bit different. But Bobby Shmurda came out, he did his thing, but he's been a little quiet.
Right, that's that. But I'm just talking about when
Yeah,
it come
yeah.
out. Like, you've been away from the eye for a little
Yeah,
bit.
the
and
game's
then you come out. Like,
changed.
I get it. You come out with a haymaker, but then it's like, after that, it's no, Jeffrey, you come out, get your money, and then bounce. Because that's what you're going to need to do.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Gunna. He got out of jail. He's been going crazy since.
That's what I'm saying.
He's been
Like,
going crazy
coming
since.
out of
Gunna,
jail
Gunna,
One of
is
my
like,
favorite
it's like-
artists.
It's like
One
doing
of
it
my
all
favorite
over
artists.
again.
Gunna, man. He
Yeah.
really be
Gunna's
doing
nice,
that
though.
thing.
Yeah.
Definitely, absolutely. But yeah, I think that was one of my favorite episodes. I'm gonna say it live on camera. That was a great episode, guys. We want to know your feedback.
Yeah.
Is anybody untouchable? Who is canceled? Give us your thoughts. Give us any sort of disagreements, anything that you think we might have been incorrect on. Let us know in the comments. We love that type of dialogue. But that's it
100%.
for today's episode.
man.
Got my boy AI Michael to my right.
Listen, y'all better not see me in the
CJ
street and call me AI Michael.
CJ
That's what I'm
Michael
saying.
to my
AI
right.
Michael is killing me.
I got my boy James to my left.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's it for artists, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
If you're loving the show, hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your go-to platform. Stay tuned and stay connected. Catch you on the next episode.